maximizing your time in the garden and minimizing how much you bring in. So we all know every single time you walk into your garden, you could potentially be introducing new things to your garden, and a lot of things you could not want, such as bugs, such as mold, such as anything, pathogens even. I'm going to be talking about a couple strategies that you can implement into your garden that are going to make it so you're spending less time in your garden so you can get more out of your garden. And without further ado, here we go. One thing you can implement into your garden is, of course, going in fresh, but that's not really implementing anything new, because of course you are clean and you are showered and your shoes are clean if you wear shoes in your garden, and everything is pitch perfect when you go in your garden every single time, right? All right, so we got that covered. You're going in clean. What are you going to do once you get in there? Well, you're going to look at your room, and you're going to realize a lot of the things that could be automated are not automated, such as auto watering. You want to make sure that as much as possible is automatic, from your humidity settings and your light settings, which brings us into our first point. You're going to want to invest in quality equipment, because you don't want to buy equipment that automates your garden for you and then have your garden quit after a couple days or a couple months and then have to go in an extra time and replace the piece of equipment that should have been working for years. So you're going to want to invest in quality equipment to make sure that every single time you go in your garden, everything is working like it's supposed to. That right there is going to be a lifesaver for you. I know it has for me. Right now I'm running a Spider Farmer SF2000 in my closet grow, and man, that thing's lasted me like 3 years now, so thank you to them. If you have a lot of things to do, do not leave your garden and come back and finish a session of gardening. Sure, it can take up a decent chunk of time in the day. It could take up to an hour, hour and a half some days, but you're not going to want to leave that garden in the middle of, say, a transplanting, or in the middle of training, or in the middle of cloning or defoliating, because you're going to need to come back and water later. Just wait until you would normally need to water, or wait until you would do the transplanting or training, or if you have something more important to do in the morning, put your garden off a little bit, but make sure you go in clean. One of my favorite things to do to save time in the garden and to make sure I don't have to go in an extra time is to do my cloning while I do my final lollipopping for flower. This has a couple advantages to it. Of course, you're going to get your defoliation and your lollipopping, therefore you're going to open it up for airflow for the flower stage, and you're also going to get rid of a lot of popcorn buds that you're not going to want, a lot of the larvae that is undesirable to the eyes and also to the grower. When you have to harvest that thing, you're not going to want to cut off all the larvae. So the 2-week recovery time, or week recovery time, plus the 2 weeks in flower where your plant is stretching, you will be seeing roots on your clones, and then they will finally start their vegetative state. And why this is important is you're going to be waiting 8 to 12 weeks until you get a final product, or be able to see what your product's really going to be like. And do you really want to be taking care of a large clone rather than a baby? Like about yay high? I would rather be taking care of a baby clone if I don't know the genetic and don't know that I want it, rather than a large clone that I put a lot of money and effort into. So not only does it save time and another trip into the garden, it also saves you from taking care of a plant too long that you don't want. So if it is something like your terpene profile does not match up with what you want, or it doesn't have enough trikes, or for any reason, no questions asked, because it's your garden, you can just cut the clone down and forget about it, and it won't even matter, because it's only 4 weeks in or 3 weeks in. So any questions, comments, concerns, adding to the conversation, leave them down below. A couple of tips that are going to help you stay out of the garden and keep you happy and your stash full. So with that being said, I will see you next time. Thank you very much.